Hi, I'm Dihua from Wiser Biker. Have you ever faced the dilemma of having too many options to choose from when choosing your first road bike? Now, I think today I found the ultimate beginner road bike that is best in its value, and it ticks almost everything on my list, or I'd rather say it ticks everything on my list, and that is the Triban RC 500 from Decathlon. And before we do the in-depth review on this, I'd like to thank Decathlon Singapore for lending us this beautiful bike to do a thorough testing for our in-depth review. The RC 500 has the second highest specification in the Triban road bike family, second only to the RC 520, but this bike has not compromised a lot in any aspects. First off, let's start off with what I like the most for this bike, and that is the group set. It's a Shimano Sora R3000 group set, and mind you, it is a full group set, meaning that it comes with the shifter as well as the crankset. For the crankset, it is a compact setup of 3450T, coupled with a micro shift cassette that is 1132T, and that gives you a very good combination of gear to choose from. Second features that I like about this bike is the wheel set. It is Triban's in-house wheel sets, but it's already tubeless ready, and at this price point you can get a tubeless ready wheel set, and that is very amazing. Together with a 28mm tire, this bike is going to be very comfortable to ride, and I'm telling you, it is very comfortable to ride, and you can go on many terrains. It is very friendly for beginners like us. Lastly, let's take a look at the frame set, and it is using a aluminum frame set together with a carbon fork, and overall the bike weighs at 10.6 kg with a disc brake. Okay, it's not the lightest bike that you can get, not the lightest road bike that you can get in the market, but for this price point, I'll say it is very acceptable. Oh wait, I forgot to mention about the price. This bike is selling at 870 Singapore dollars. And now you know why I say this bike is one of the, or in fact, the best value entry road bike that we can find in the market right now, with all this bundle of specs that we are getting. Now, when we got our hands on this Triban RC 500, we thought we will ride it for about 200 kilometers just to see how good it is. But in the end, we ended up riding more than 500 kilometers on it, and there are very good reasons for that, and I'm going to tell you what we really love about this bike. First, that is how versatile this bike is. Now, when you first hop onto this bike, it is not difficult to tell that it has got a very comfortable geometry, and because of that, you can actually ride this bike for a very long distance without getting hurt. And I'm serious about it. You can ride it for endurance cycling, you can go for tour, you can go for your round island, or if you are just riding it on PCNs, roads, and even gravels, this bike can do almost everything. While most road bikes supports only up to 28mm tires, this bike can fit all the way to 36mm tires. And what does that mean? It simply means that you can use wider tires that pumps lower pressure, and that means more cushion and more comfort. The next thing I like about this bike is the disc brakes. Now, while it is not the best disc brakes in the market, but a disc brake is a disc brake, and a disc brake is definitely have better braking powers as compared to a rim brake, and you can now travel and ride with more confidence when it comes to your descent or when you're riding in wet weather conditions, because with disc brakes you can actually brake very effectively in all kinds of weather conditions. The next thing we like about this bike is the tubeless ready wheel sets. Now, you may not be really tempting or wanting to use tubeless tires, but it is always something that is good to have if it comes with the bike, right? And I heard that actually tubeless tires can reduce the eroding resistance as well as make the tires more puncture proof. We'll see in the future when we get our hands on our very own set of tubeless ready wheels. Now the next thing that we like about this bike is something I think is very special to this bike, and that is it has got many different mounting points for different accessory add-ons. It can add many different type of racks, like you can add in a front rack or a rear carrier rack for different purposes. You can put you can just basically for your shopping, for your marketing, for putting your grab food bag. And if you're going for a daily commute, you can actually put on your mud guards as well to prevent all the water from splashing onto you. And if you are one that is thinking to bring this bike for a tour or for your gravel camping, whatever, you can actually customize it as to your liking. Finally, is a very minute point, but I think it means a lot to us because it is the details that really matters. And that is this anti-friction cable rubber sleeves. Okay, and these things really work wonder in protecting not only your frame but also the cable housings from wear and tear. Now, so much for what we love about this bike. There are some imperfections that we hope the Triban can improve on, and number one is these cables. We really hope that it can be made internal, at least for this part, because this bike is already so versatile that we are going to go to we're going to use it for so many different purposes. Then I think it's only fair to have the cables routed internally to prevent wear and tear by water or by other weather elements. The next thing that we don't like about this bike are the tires. Actually, we have no problem with the size of the tire, but for such a good package, we thought that it should come with a name brand tire. I mean, if I were to buy this bike brand new, I would straight away change the stock tire to better known brand tires such as the Continental Ultra Sport 3, but that would be a little bit wasteful because you are throwing away a brand new tire that is workable, but you know that the performance and the quality is not as good as you want it to be. Now, while the bike is very comfortable to ride on, I do think that the bar tips can be improved, because right now it is just a little bit too slippery if you were to grip it without wearing a glove. And I think that the top bar here, the top grip, is just a little bit too thick even for my hand that is not too tiny. So if you ask me to give a rating on this bike, well, maybe I'll just break it down into different segments. Number one is the price. Definitely, I think unarguable, that is a 5 out of 5. $870 for this whole setup is really a bargain. Next, I will say for performance wise, we'll probably decide to give it a 3. Well, that is because when our team is actually riding it, we feel that the pickup or you say the acceleration is a little bit sluggish. Well, perhaps that is due to the bike not being very stiff. But to be fair, the bike is actually designed for endurance. Well, it is not designed for race, so it is only fair to say. So to be fair, the bike is actually designed for endurance, not really designed for race. Next, for component, we'll say it is a 4.5 out of 5. We really love all the components for this price point. Yes, remember that all the things that we're rating on has got to do in relative with its price. So with this price point, we say the components we get are absolutely very good, except for the tires can be improved, and the bar tips, which is very cheap, can be improved. Okay, the last segment that we want to rate this bike on is on its comfort, on the riding comfort of this bike. Now, definitely this bike deserves a 5 out of 5 score. Why? Because the geometry itself actually allows your body to ride at a much more upright posture, and coupled with a 28mm tires, it's just super comfortable to ride on. And like we said before, you can go kilometers after kilometers without actually getting pain on your back or on your hands. And you know what? I think even as a beginner like us, to ride 100 kilometers or 160 kilometers on this bike, it is very achievable just because of its comfort level. Overall rating of this bike at 4.4 out of 5. So who is this bike for? Well, we think that this bike is very suitable for beginners who want to pick up road cycling. Why? Because the components we get here are just a lot of value and the price is not that expensive. If your budget is lower than $1,000, this is just the go-to bike. But most importantly, this bike offers a very comfortable riding geometry, riding posture because of its geometry. Now, if you are a beginner and you buy yourself a race design bike that requires much more aggressive riding posture and requires much more core muscles or different muscle groups to all work together, which you still do not have or you haven't trained them, then you might get yourself into all sorts of discomfort or injuries, which is just not necessary. Or alternatively, you might have to get yourself a very elaborated bike fitting, which will cost you a lot more. So which is why we think that this would be a better starting point for all beginners who actually want to pick up road cycling. Alright, so that's all from us today. I hope you enjoy our review on this RC500 from Triban. If you like our content today, do give us a thumbs up and do remember to subscribe to our channel for more road bike or other bicycle reviews.